Why are you looking at me? What did I do? Aren't you supposed to be playing the intro? To the Meta episode of Rick and Morty? What the fuck? Oh, I get it. Is this supposed to be like the Meta intro? Okay, that's a pretty cool concept, but like, I didn't get a script. What am I even supposed to say? Guys? This isn't funny. I don't know what to say. I don't have a fucking script. Alright, I guess like and subscribe. OnlyFans link in bio. Dick pics, $10. You can customize them. $5 for the nipple close-ups. That's a pretty good deal. You're not going to find that in many other places. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's, yeah. Guys, you can't just, like, leave me hanging like this. I don't have a fucking script. I don't know what to tell these people. Alright, you know what? Just cut to black.
Previously on Rick and Morty.
Previously on Before Rick and Morty committed the cardinal TV sin of having a previously on in their episode.
Skip.
Jerry, I had sex with your wife.
Not realizing Jerry would probably be less mad about this and more turned on by it. Or maybe I'm just projecting my own fetishes onto this scenario.
Discount Jeremy is a cuckold. The next 3 sins in a row are nothing more than Discount Jeremy pointing things out on the screen, which is not funny or entertaining in any way, but it is super boring.
It's raining meatballs!
And you'd think I'd do a simple quick sin here, like cloudy with a chance of Rick and Morty, but since I don't give a shit about what you think, I'm just gonna sin the fact that I've never once seen a pickup basketball game in this driveway, and that basketball goal honestly looks like it's never been used. And for the record, I do care what you think.
No, you don't. If you cared about what people thought, you would actually make good videos instead of the garbage you've been putting out for a while now. And the next 2 sins are yet more pointing things out on the screen. No wonder the CinemaSins fanbase is mainly complete idiots. They find it entertaining for a guy to literally just narrate what's happening in an episode, most likely because they're too stupid to understand it themselves. Not that the Sins writers can understand anything either, but you get my point.
And for our honeymoon, let's go to a sealed chamber lined with ionized deuterium.
Why?
Because the charge acts as a narrative decelerant. Morty, none of this is real.
If nothing here is real, then how would an isotope have an observable effect on the fake matter in your fake reality? Unless just saying it does the thing means it does the thing. But that would mean that name-dropping ionized Deuteronomy was an extra step, and Rick could have just said, let's go to a sealed chamber lined with a narrative decelerant.
Or maybe this show is a comedic cartoon that does the most outrageous bullshit that isn't supposed to make sense, meaning it's very stupid to be genuinely trying to criticize it in this way.
Now repeat after me, Morty. Next time on Rick and Morty.
Next time on Rick and Morty?
No, previously on Rick and Morty.
Preemptive narration to counteract the subsequent narration leads to my narration sending your narration.
Narration.
We gotta get through the opening titles.
Oh, f*** me. I didn't want to have to do this. But if the Rick and Morty writers are going to kick down the walls of their reality and attempt to make this episode unsinnable, I really have no choice but to prove to Meta Sinverse that no episode is truly without sin. Even if that involves sinning myself.
I am alive!
No need to be so melodramatic.
Sorry, decreasing dramatization by 5%. Oh shit.
Better make it 15.
You.
Perfect. Now, you just keep sending the video like that, and I think we might just get through this.
Stop talking.
Cinny, activate the sin transfer array.
Well, also you adding a sin just because you didn't like something is not really an issue with this show.
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny?
Jesus Christ, I've sat through a lot of very cringy attempts at jokes on this channel, but this one honestly might take the cake. That was horrible. The cringe was beyond unbearable. How many sins can we give that?
200,000 units are ready, with 1 million more well on the way.
Can we please hurry up with those million more? Alright, just 200,000 for now, but we'll get back to the million later.
Oh my god, it's a giant squirrel!
Pretty sure that's a sugar glider and not a squirrel. And I understand most people don't know what a sugar glider is, but then just make it look like a f***ing squirrel. How hard could that be?
He says, as if Morty is knowledgeable enough to know what a sugar glider is?
Don't succumb to his pointless self-aware bullshit.
Says the king of pointless self-aware bullshit. And that may be the point, but do you know what I have to say to that?
Potato salad!
Alright, the potato salad joke is kinda funny, so I'll remove a sin. At least someone on the Sins writing team has the ability to make decent jokes once in a blue moon. That's another 2 sins for pointing things out on the screen.
Just because you have a sign that says Chekhov's guns doesn't mean that we can't sin Chekhov's guns. Because if we don't sin Chekhov's guns, then the sin doesn't come into play and it becomes Chekhov's sins, which doesn't even make sense because who's to say where and when a sin can have action? In the end, maybe it's just Chekhov's Rick and Morty and maybe that's the point and maybe nothing means anything and I mean nothing. And in my being said, I'd also like to thank the writers for their sin assist with these metaphorically literal representations of narrative concepts. My job is much easier when you lay them out like this.
And why is that a sin? Care to explain why it's a sin to lay out metaphorically literal representations? No? Okay.
I mean, it's funny when I do a little nod to the viewers, but...
What viewers?
Morty would be the most meta thing to ever meta at MetaSins. And if Rick and Morty continues down this path, we might just create that channel to f with them personally.
So what's the sin here? At this point in the video, you may be thinking, why is this guy taking everything so seriously? This entire Sins video was a joke. But the issue with it is that, regardless of the fact that it's all a joke, almost none of it is actually funny. So, of course I'm gonna sin them for this huge missed opportunity. For real, this episode was the absolute biggest gimme for the Sins writers in terms of the sheer amount of genuinely funny jokes they could have made, but they completely dropped the ball. This shit is so frustrating and painful to watch.
None of this season 3 moonlighting shit.
Talking about season 3 of Moonlighting when we all know that season 5 was the real problem. F you, A Womb with a View. I'll never get that hour of my life back.
Discount Jeremy goes on a mercifully short, but still very boring and pointless tangent ex machina. The next 2 sins are yet again just Discount Jeremy pointing things out on the screen. Please try to be better in the future, this shit is so boring and annoying. Also, he mentioned in the second sin here how this episode shows the Rick and Morty writer's desperation, as if this episode is bad, but he's just full of shit. Actually, he might be jealous, seeing as this episode actually manages to genuinely be funny. Either way, it's a sin.
This whole place just a bunch of groan-inducing wordplay for 7 TV critics that won't even enjoy it.
We're not critics. It's a comedy channel. A comedy channel.
If this is a comedy channel, then shouldn't you try to, actually make it funny? You know, instead of doing what you've been doing? I'm very confused by this. Also, he claims here that TVSins is just a comedy channel and that they're not actual critics, but this is bullshit seeing as he's tried and failed to critique this show and other shows plenty of times in the past. In other words, lying.
Also thinking wordplay is more groan-inducing than Wordle, and that I don't enjoy both.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Every second we spend here is the equivalent to 10 Space Jam cameos.
Sinning your own appearance in a terrible movie does not exclude us from sinning your appearance in that terrible movie. And just in case our dad's sin channel didn't sin you the first time around, we're giving you 2 here.
A whole bunch of bullshit.
I'm here, Leon.
This Deus Ex Machina riding in on Leon's prayers like some kind of literal literary Jesus cannot absolve you of your TV sins.
And you still don't know what a Deus Ex Machina is. Now, you might be thinking, but that's the joke. This entire video is all about being meta, so he's making a joke about the fact that he constantly misuses the term Deus Ex Machina. But the issue with this, as pretty much always, unfortunately, is that it's not funny.
I love a good refusal of the call.
Hey, Storylord's back! And now I'm gonna sin myself for remembering who the f*** Storylord is.
So the episode made a mistake for you remembering a character? Seriously, anyone who genuinely finds this shit funny has a terrible sense of humor.
But how could I not? This episode is a sequel to the first episode I ever appeared in the video as your narrator.
Skip?
Also, it's not like just because this is the sequel to the episode where I appeared out of thin air to start narrating that we'd go back to the original narrator for this video.
Skip? Again.
Dude, she's a hooker.
The entire second season script of White Lotus somehow makes it into the episode.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Look, guys, I can believe in Jesus or the Loch Ness Monster, but not both. Unless they're partners on the force who initially hate working with each other, but then learn to mutually respect one another by the end of their first murder case.
Was that supposed to be a joke?
You'll have to do better than that, my darling.
Leon, you saved our lives.
Not only did he save your lives, but he saved your lives by killing Jesus. Is there a bigger sin than killing Jesus?
Killing TVSins? Like you've been slowly and painfully doing ever since you started?
Anti-meta field.
Show has Rick create a thing using techno magic, thereby creating a contradictory world that somehow has enough rules to make science feasible and enough creative license to make literally anything else feasible.
Cartoon. Comedy. Not supposed to make sense.
Don't try it, Flashback.
Come on, Flash Baxter was right there.
Yeah, Flashback is much better than Flash Baxter.
runs on hydrogen isotopes.
A few barrels of petroleum should dampen it.
Run, Morty!
Show is now doing whatever it wants without regard for anything, and somehow the plot still makes sense. So I should probably remove a sin, but instead I'm adding one.
Discount Jeremy sins something he likes cliche.
Were those not there before? Guess there's been a continuity error.
Acting as if continuity errors are a part of storytelling. May as well include Typo Mary and Karma Splice. But the way Rick and Morty's bodies and clothes heal, they may have a point.
See, this whole sin was really just a cover-up for the fact that CinemaSins used to be a channel for pointing out continuity errors, but has now devolved into a boring group of boring people saying boring things.
They really went all in on Nessie and these different continuities, didn't they? Nessie's quickly becoming the David S. Pumpkins of Rick and Morty, or at least we can hope. Or do we not want that to happen? Can we flash back to what I was saying the other day? Where did God allow mythical creatures if they ever started?
Also, Discount Jeremy makes a David S. Pumpkins reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Got him in a cell made out of sports because it's the opposite of story.
Tell that to the producers of Drive to Survive.
Hey, would you look at that? Another pop culture reference. Yay!
But his name is Brett Kahn. I think Brett's a name too. His name could be Rhett Kahn.
Naming a character Brett Kahn for no other reason than getting in your retcon joke.
Discount Jeremy seems to be forgetting that this show is a comedy and everything that happens is supposed to be for the sake of jokes.
What is my purpose?
To wait until I tell you to pull the lever.
Retconning Butter Robot to have never passed the butter.
Pointing things out on the screen. Again.
If you don't free me right now, Rick, I can make very, very bad things. Always have been the case for you.
If Rhett the Hitman Khan can affect Rick's story while he's in this cage, why would he make very bad things have always been the case, instead of just making Rick have always opened the door?
Maybe it's because the cage doesn't allow him to make people open the door, but he can do other things with his powers? Or maybe it doesn't matter because this is a cartoon.
Show severely underexplains how Rick and Morty got from the orange that just became all of existence to this frozen tundra.
So you wanted them to sit down, look at the camera, and give us some expository narration? I mean, in an episode like this, that's not the most ridiculous thing possible, but it's still a fairly stupid sin.
I'm Joseph Campbell.
Making me think of Heart of Darkness, even though you're Joseph Campbell, who I often get confused with Joseph Conrad.
Another pop culture reference. Surprise, surprise.
I'm pregnant. What are you doing? It wasn't him, Rick.
Then who?
Bearded Rick thinks Joseph Campbell impregnated a bearded Morty, so he tries to drown him in a bucket of water. Improv the rest, is how I imagine this scene was written.
Now, that's just an excuse for you to verbally describe what is happening on screen because for some reason you think it's funny to do so.
Wait, hold on. Is he admitting that he thinks it's funny to point things out on the screen? Holy shit, he is. You fucking dumbass. You just admitted that you have a shit sense of humor and are totally incompetent. Damn. Where are those million sins you promised me earlier?
When you get home, Rick, do some classic adventures, like season 1.
I'm so sick of that f***ing note. What the f*** does it even mean?
That fake-ass laugh.
Cubicles.
One of the writers had a job with a cubicle one time, and now they make the same tired joke every time a row of them pops up on screen.
You know what? I've had enough of you.
No, I want to live!
Let's never do that again.
You finally said something logical. Of course, you shouldn't have put all that bullshit in this video in the first place, so I can't remove any sins, but I am proud of you for at least admitting it was terrible.
Wait, you have to register?
The real joke isn't that this alien is too unmotivated to register to look at porn, it's that he's going to a site where you have to register for porn. He's bad at porn.
Discount Jeremy probably has a boner. I mean, let's be honest, people. He probably has the world's only infinite boner.
I don't take notes.
Rick and Morty writers constantly reminding us they don't care about feedback while constantly making episodes directly related to said feedback.
Discount Jeremy points things out on the screen cliche.
You failed me.
Storylord is not only still alive, but still able to talk after being inflicted with a massive head wound Harry. Look, if you're going to make weird and dated references, Rick and Morty, then I'm going to make weird and dated references. It's my right. And at least I'd never stoop to having Joseph Campbell in my story, mainly because I don't know who Joseph Campbell is.
Tangents, rants, boring bullshit. Excitement? What the? Why do you keep cutting to me? I don't have the sentence. I don't like, nobody gave me a script for this video. I don't know what the sentence is. Anybody? I'm willing to take suggestions. I don't know what to do. Mom spaghetti.